On my last video, I said I would pick a random comment and do a VOD review of them. So that's what we're doing. Icebird, congratulations. Today, we're gonna be breaking down every part of your solo cash up game and helping you improve as much as possible. If you guys want your gameplay watched, all you have to do is drop a comment down below with the reason why, and then the most liked comment will get a review next. Let's go. All right, so now we are in game. We are on board with the man Icebird. I'm super excited to do this one. For context, this is his last game of the solo cash cup. The most recent one at that. So this is going to be as updated as it possibly gets here. Out of the gate, we're going to see where he drops. Looks like he is going for like a split drop on the back side of the map here, but we're about to see in a second. Again, this is his final game. All right, so right away, Icebird is just dropping high here. And he knows one thing's for sure. Just avoid landing on the hill here. Make sure you pull your glider in the valley here. But I will say one thing, just really quickly. There's levels to dropping, right? This is the most mundane thing I feel like in the game. It is kind of boring, but if you want to be successful off spawn, if you want to win more, this is what you have to do. And seeing him pull his glider, spam pull his glider, kind of like he's doing now, isn't the best route. It's not bad, but your glide should always be perfect. If you can draw it up perfectly every time, you're flying nice and gradual all the way down until you go and hit your marker. And you don't pull your glider a single time. You don't check around you. You just know you're gonna hit the marker. And the top pros, if you ever watch the top pros, they will do that. They will never pull, they'll never tap their glider if they don't have to. Again, on certain drops that are really far, you might have to. But this, essentially, every time you tap it, let's just say it adds a 1 second to your drop that's behind. So if someone's doing the perfect glide, you're here with them, right? You tap it, you're slowly falling backwards more and more and more. And yes, you're hitting the marker, which is going to help you have the perfect distance from the marker to the spot, which is important, right? You got to hit your marker at the very least. You're going to be behind anybody else that is dropping perfectly. The next thing that I always do whenever I'm dropping in is always look straight down to double check you hit the marker. Because if you don't know, if you guys are gliding in, like let's say this is me, right? I'm gliding in. If I look up and down, it doesn't change my speed. Like after I pull my glider, it doesn't change my speed. So always check, right when you pull your glider, look straight down, see if you were either in front of the marker, if you hit the marker, or if you were behind the marker. And that'll help you also gauge before you even land, okay, I might have this floor spawn, or this guy might beat me if he comes here. And you can kind of just start to game plan while you're flying in. And if you guys don't already know, Fortnite is all about thinking 10 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead, and game planning as early as possible. So all that to say, he's landing at a spot that's going to be mostly uncontested, so I would say, and also he'll know if people are coming. So it's not the end all that what he did was bad, right? Like it's just extra tips, and that's what I want to do here for you, Icebird. This is for you. This is a VOD review exclusively for Icebird, and I just want to help him out and supply it as much as I can possibly give here. That's great. Just knowing using that mobility to get back up the hill, it's very smart. And then just a small detail, right? But you might as well just put yourself on the back because this is the most vulnerable spot, right? Like this guy has a free shot on you, right? I would just stick myself right here, put it in, and just hope that no one's on this side. And then same thing, like when you're doing this, right? In the moment, again, it's all about game planning, but also planning in your head of what might happen and what you will do, right? He's here, he's put it in. Okay, if he gets shot, he can only get shot from one, most likely it's to his left. It's going to be most high chances to his left. So if he does, right, as soon as he gets out, he needs to flip, build a stair, build a wall, whatever it is. Like having that, like as you're rotating, right, you're coming through here and you're like, okay, there's the highest chances to my left to get shot, right? You're instantly like, boom, you're ready to flick and build. It's something you guys probably already do defaultly, but it's just thinking about the scenarios that might come up. And it looks like the chests are a little bugged here. This is a little bit of an old replay. It's back in December 15th, I believe, of last year. So not a month out, but close. But still has a lot of similar items, or mostly all similar. So yeah, he's looking pretty golden here. Gets pretty stacked. Next thing that I'm picking up on here is just whenever you're going down, again, didn't affect you here. I'm going to try not to keep saying that, but these are all just very important things that you want to pick up on, Icebird, to be just have subtle advantages, right? Whenever you're going down, like, all right, you looted up, you got everything you wanted, you're going down, okay, check left, right, boom, go. Like, you just want to have that extra second because maybe you see someone flying in, maybe you see someone about to hit the zip line, maybe you see someone in the valley, right? Now you're going down, and now it's all unknown. And same thing here, like, you check to your right because you want to see maybe there's a guy running over in that valley that's about to come. Maybe there's a guy, already over there. Just do a quick scan while you're up here, and boom. Go and head down. And also, it looks like you have, you got water boon, obviously, right? Because you got the guy. So I wouldn't even consider wasting heals here, especially if you know you're uncontested. Also, I'll say, just from looking at this now, we'll see what you do here. But creating a game plan seems crucial for you. Like something where you need to be like, okay, right? Land, loot, go down, blue guy, come up, boom, here, you know, X, Y, Z after. Like, it looks like you're going down, water boon, popping a mini, then building back up when you could, you know, if you were at least to slide down this way, get your water boon, then zip back up. It's just about being efficient. Funny situation to be in, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the fact that we did the last VOD on laser, and then now we're doing the same one here, same spot, pretty wild. But yeah, having that consistent game plan of like, all right, I know I land, loot, go, right? I've got that down. I know where I'm going, X, Y, Z. If X is closed because someone got it, then I'm going to go for this. You know, it's all about preparing a game plan. And really, the more you land at one spot, the more comfortable you'll get landing there. And then also the more scenarios that will come up. If you landed at this spot for the first time ever, this is kind of what it would look like. You don't know what to do. You don't know exactly what to do if something else, if your original plan gets, you know, interrupted. And so having reps is going to help you every time, right? All right, I need to go here now. Boom, got it. I'm going to just 2x this because he's just looting. Looks like he heard this guy. So yeah, he knows. Yeah, this is fine. Just go ahead and get out. Like, you don't have to fight that guy. He's going to go ahead and go. But this is all, like, from what I'm seeing here, this is all cause and effect of you just being a little slow early. Like, you don't know exactly the right, most optimal way to work around here. So that guy's getting in front of you. Like, this at the end of the day, like, if we just take a snapshot of what you're looting, you're getting a shrine. I'll just throw it out. What, 4 or 5 chest spawns, some barrels, and that's really it. Like, so versus this guy's getting a whole POI, buildings, having to run around, loot, farm up. Like, those guys are passing you. That should never happen. But again, just kind of like I talked about earlier, right? You're running in the open here, not pointing out anything and really just trying to reiterate the point of like, all right, if you get shot at, it's most likely to your top right? So you got to be instantly ready to build. It's max awareness here, knowing where the highest chances to get hit from. And same thing here, right? Or a similar thing here, right? Whenever you're coming through here, this is probably, and you can test this, and I would encourage you to test this, Icebird, if you think this is a common rotate, but just think about visuals, right? Imagine someone's in this building here on edge, right? And then he's not visuals here, but then he comes in over here, and now he sees you. Like, he has an advantage on you, and it could be costly at that. So, like, in a scenario like this, I would always just opt just to run down below and, like, tank a little bit more. You have water boon, you'll be fine, you'll get capped. But knowing that, like, this could trigger visual audios for somebody to have an advantage on you is something you want to avoid. Same thing with, like, water, right? I would always avoid here, cones over. Like, I don't want to give anybody the water visual because that's the most obvious thing. Like, oh, someone's swimming? I wonder where that could be. It's got to be below me. All right, boom. Go look straight down and fry you. And then all this could happen when you're still unaware, you know, farm these barrels and hitting zip lines. And, right, it looks like you just have kind of your head in the ground looking for loot, which is not a bad thing at this point in the game, but being aware of what you're doing and what, you know, what other people see on you or what other people could see on you if they are there is very, very important. And that's really what comes into early game and mid game awareness. It's like, why do I always die in the mid game? Because these people are having the biggest advantage on you. They're getting an instant fry because you're just not aware of what you're causing, the builds you're making, the things that they can see on you, the visual audio, right? Even like throwing loot, like, right? Just small things like that make it a lot harder, and also make it a lot harder for you to see other players, right? Like, if you're thinking about from a pro's perspective, you're not going to be able to really see them because a pro is not going to, you know, he's going to be very selective with what he builds and what he does, and that's why they'll get away with it a lot of times. Another thing that I want to mention here that seems really good is you know the metal, right? That's great. Like, you know that this wall is metal, and you know that wall is metal, and all that. That's really, really good to have a good understanding of what's near you for metal. I would encourage you, if you don't know the entire POI for metal, like down to a T, I would encourage you to do that. I would also encourage anybody to not land at a spot like this in general. Like, I would much rather have all of you guys landing at a POI because it's much more consistent loot-wise. It's much, you know, more consistent to just improve on it itself. Like, at the end of the day, you're landing at a 50-50 spot where you could just drop out on the hill and get out dropped every time, and there you go. So, definitely good at the baseline that you know the metal here. We're going to just 4x this because you're just farming mats. That's fine. Yes, I mean, this right here is fine. Like, all you're doing, getting your mats up, perfect. And at least you know where the best things are. That's a big detail there. Yep. There, you could always just throw your blue guy, or drop your blue guy first, because this could be a 1 blue guy, right? It could be 2. You don't want to waste 1. Just a small detail. Very easy to drop him. It takes no time at all just to switch out. And then here, right? Same thing like that hill earlier, right? When you landed, you have that height. Like here, you're kind of, I mean, if we kind of slow it down here, it's a little bit easier to tell, but you're kind of just head down, right? You're not really looking around. It's got to be head on a swivel. You got to be down, like on this turtle right here, coming up on these wood builds. Like, okay, let me check my far right. Okay, is anyone down here fishing? No. Okay. Is anyone over here coming out from mast or whatever this place is called? What? Warrior's Watch. No. Okay. What about this guy? Can I see that there's build fights there? So let me glide to the right. There's no build fights there. Should be a pretty easy. Just like now you see the guy fish or swimming, right? Whenever you're on elevation here, I've talked to this a ton in previous videos, but always check around. This is like when you have the chance to check all blind spots, right? Especially when you're padding. You pad. All right, I'm good. Let's go. And then when you are padding or before you pad, okay, if I pad and I get fried by Timmy, what do I do? All right, if I glide right and I'm over here, what do I do? And it's almost impossible to have an answer to every possible scenario, but to at least think about what you think is the best play is very, very important. So you see that guy, that's great. You don't pick up on this guy because he's really not doing anything, but just knowing that there could be someone there is an important thing. Like just checking back and forth. Okay, I'm gotta go away from this guy. I know he's there, but if someone's behind me, I need to also check that and pay attention to that. All right, there's my boy Timmy. He's coming behind you. Gotta be careful of that guy. And I also think just the main point here. I mean, your awareness of like, I guess not awareness, but your timer of what's going on in game is a little bit off here. Like you're looking a lot for this guy. Like you've been ADS for a minute. You've been kind of crouching around this guy. Like that leaves a lot of time for, let's say you spent 30 seconds doing that, kind of moving slow, staying in the similar area, right? This leaves 30 seconds for a guy from over here to run up on the hill full speed, and then he'll get behind you. Kind of like what Timmy's doing here. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up shooting you. Like there's a certain point where you got to call it off, right? Here especially. Right, you fry him, instantly, like, look around you, do 360, make sure you're aware. Boom, keep going. But he ends up not shooting you, and you kind of get out of that situation pretty luckily. Here you see a bush, looks like you're shooting it down. This is just a blind pro, right? You don't know what's going over here. You're kind of shooting yourself in a not a great area. Let's see if you actually go through with it. Looks like you do, right? So you don't know what's down here. You didn't even bother to check anybody that's over here. You didn't even see this guy, which maybe you would have, maybe you wouldn't have. But either way, you're going down into a valley, which is typically never the play. I think the best option here, even though this is out of zone here, is to just pearl from here up to here. Clear that bush first, of course, because you want to land and you don't want to get fried. So pearl from there. You can climb this hill. You would see this guy. You could shoot him, make him go in a direction in his zone, clear out your spot. Right? Let's imagine you shoot this guy here. He's probably going to go down the hill. You keep shooting him. You could even force him left here to go up and over, right? And then you eventually, now you're here, right? Or you don't shoot that guy at all, whatever. Let's say you pearl to here, or you come over here to an elevated spot. You say, okay, yep, perfect. Now, pearl again one more time. I see that Zamu guy. I'm going to time him. He's going towards this way. Boom, pearl. Go right next to him, slide, go in. Right now I got a guy here. Let me pearl again. Continue to just stay in the valley, stay out of this lines of sight of people, and boom. And these are things that you guys can do, and I encourage all you guys to do consistently. All right, go in your games and just say, what if I didn't pearl here? What if I scouted this and went to here and pearled, and then I would have seen, okay, there's a guy there and a guy there. Okay, let me just, what if I just went to here and pearled? What would my angle have looked like? What would my timing have been like? Because that changes a lot. And then just on top of all that, just general rule of thumb, I would say 90% of the time, you don't want to be caught in a valley, especially caught in a valley farming. And also, especially in a POI cluster. I think I talked about this in the last one, but POI clumps are a thing. Like if we look here, there's a lot of people Foxy, there's a lot of people Brutal, there's even people in Pump, there's people in Seaport. Like those are a thing, and especially in the more stacked lobbies, they are more of a thing because people want to get mats back, they need to look for extra loot, whatever it is. So deciding to pearl down into a valley is your first kind of negative, and then deciding to farm in that valley is also a negative, right? Because it's just there's people there. It's a POI. Farming in the POI is not a great thing. But I do want to clarify, just compared to being in this scenario, right, where you're pearling over this bridge into the valley, it's a little different, right? Because this isn't a POI. If there's people down here, it's very unlikely, or maybe one guy max, and you'll be just fine. But doing this, pearling into the valley, farming, is just going to get you griefed. And really in solos, you want to minimize that chance, right? And here, you're fried, instantly heal, box up and heal. This is a meta where like you're definitely one fry, one guy up here shooting down from death. Like they will instantly kill you. I don't know if those minis are actually there, but definitely heal. 100% you need to heal. Get in that water at the very least here, right? And there you go. Now you're having to make a run play for the water, burn more mats, like just... Oh, looks like now you might be getting keyed. I mean, look at this POI clump here, right? Just imagine if you would have just stayed on the hill and pearled over here. And then from there, you can figure it out from that point forward. Don't worry about trying to get in the best spot possible. Also, just a general thing, right? Again, just like I talked about in the earlier parts of this video, just thinking 10 steps ahead. Okay, if I pearl down here, what does my next rotate look like? Okay, let's say it pulls far. Okay, now I have to go up and over into a valley and then straight into the line of sights of all these hills, right? Versus, right, if I wrapped here, then maybe I could wrap around the hills and kind of come up this way, kind of where this guy's at, and kind of wrap to that metal wall there, whatever, right? Or if you just decided to, you know, hit this pad, take it, go up there, pad from that way, and come all the way right side, it would have been the same thing, avoiding these hills. That's a big detail. You definitely are going to get caught on these hills pretty bad. If I had to make a prediction here. And then yeah, this is all just cause and effect of that pearl. Like no one was pushing you or forcing you to make the pearl down in the valley. You didn't need the mass, you didn't need the loot, like you needed positioning, you needed to use your brain, and that's been the biggest effect of this game. And in a meta where pearling and even just blading is so fast, like people can just get ahead so quick. I mean, we saw just 2 minutes ago or a minute ago, there was like 5 people in the POI. Now all these guys are out, they're in zone, and they're ahead. It's so easy to get ahead here that, like, if you guys thought rotating late was bad in previous metas with like the fizz or whatever else, like it's even worse now. Like you almost have to, you have an insta go timer, and then you have like just a regular go timer. It's not much less than the insta go, because if you go way too late, everyone's in front of you with the pearl in zone, and I think we'll see how you play this one out. Let's see here. So you get your water boon, you're chilling. Now you can go ahead and, again, think 2 steps ahead, plan it again. Clear that bush, always, right? You had the perfect line of sight from back where you were. You could have definitely cleared it out. Or instead, you just run right through it, not thinking a thing about it. And that could have been the game right there. Yeah, I think this overall rotate right here was probably fine. Like, just clear the bush next time. Again, blind pearl, right? You're blind pearl right over this hill. You have no idea what's over it. When you have the chance just to, like, it's not like there's a guy boxed up right here on the edge of the hill. Like, just run right here. Boom. Come here. All right, let me see. Okay, go. Blind pearl. Or shoot my pearl, sorry. Even if you're shooting it, like, kind of towards those trees, like, yes, technically from this angle, it's blind, but, like, you can get a really good view of, like, what's above you, what's around you, and who's to your left, right? From this angle here. And I think the more you blind pearl, the higher risk you have of dying, for sure. And also, I'll say, if you are using your mobility, it's go time. Like, if you're coming through the middle of zone especially, it's go. It's don't box up, go, go, go. Farm the tree, I'm fine for that, but just keep going. Like, there's no point in you boxing an edge here, especially if you see no one in front of you. Right? There's no point in even doing that either. Just making a hard box, now you're wasting more mats. It's like you're playing the game of, like, spend and recollect the entire time. Like, now you gotta farm this, and you keep building another one, then you gotta farm it again. Like, stop wasting your time making those bases, and you'll be good. You won't have to farm as much. Here, coming up on a bush, clear it. There you go. Right? When you shoot, everyone else hears it as well. This guy hears visuals. Looks like he's looking right at you. Yep. Right? They all know you're going in the bush. So instantly you shoot. Okay, no one's in the bush. That's great. Now I got to worry about who, you know, that guy might see me, or this guy who's coming up the valley might see me, or this guy might see me. Right? It's about thinking, like, if I'm rotating here, right here in this valley here, to my right, I'm safe, right? But if I get shot, it's got to be either behind me or to my left, because I'm looking forward, right? So you get shot, boom, instantly turn around, block these 2 angles. Same thing. Similar situation to what we talked about earlier. We'll go ahead and 4x here because it looks like you're in a bush. One thing you can also do with bushes that I always try to do is just, I would either set a cone here and edit it a certain way, like give yourself just a certain specific cover or angle. Some bushes are really good for it. Like, I'm not going to say this is the exact best one, but let's imagine, you know, the tile is a little different and you're able to put the wall in the middle of the bush and kind of play behind the wall. It just gives you like that, kind of like this, right? Like if you edit that side of the wall, it's a little bit less likely that someone sees that there's a building there at all, and they're going to shoot right here, which is going to hit the wall. and going to give you a really, really good peek. But right now, I mean, it's a pretty clear, like, if someone wants to shoot the bush, like, well, I mean, he's got to be in it, right? You're just kind of showing them where you are. At least put a cone down, a stare down. Like, it doesn't change much for you. And also, I would just never recommend just sitting AFK in the middle of the bush. Like, play aside, be a little odd with it. Because the middle is where they're going to start every time. Again, blind pearl. But you're going ahead early, which is probably the biggest reason why this was well. Right? You're actually shooting it before because you know the zone's gonna pull. Again, you clear the bush there. Looks like you pull zone again here, which is great, of course. Can't ask for more than that. And then, of course, right, from this position, we really can't go dead side. That's our preferred positions. We want to go into the storm. We want to play dead side and wrap around here. We're going to keep 4X in this because we know we pulled here. I think this is also very smart. Just making your space hard. Right, putting it in hard boxes is good. Even though you're in the bush. People are coming in. And yeah, here, right? A, B, C options. What are you doing here? Zone pulls this way. What are you doing? Zone pulls this way. What are you doing? Have all options, you know, thought out beforehand, or at least majority of the difficult ones. You could look at this and say, okay, you know, this option right here, if it pulls this way, is probably the least difficult. Especially, you know, if it pulls this direction, it's the least difficult for me. I got an easy pearl I can see right in front of me. Even the water is not that tricky because I'm so far ahead on the edge. But if it pulls, you know, let's say this way, this is pretty difficult. You don't know who's in those builds. You know there's guys up there, so you're gonna have to really make a tricky play here. And then same thing, if it pulls up this direction, this is very tough because you don't know. There's a lot of builds up here that like it looks like nobody's up here. Oh no, never mind. There are people up there just out of render. Right? That's exactly it. Like planning your rotate. Here we go. Zone pulls. And this is a habit that I see a lot out of people, right? We just saw it just then. You right as zone's about to pull, you're looking. Right? You're looking for something. You're starting to try to shoot somebody, edge map, get a spray damage, whatever. Just focus ahead here. I think a lot of us get a little bit bored, but just setting those standards. Like, okay, you're not just playing for yourself in this moment. You're playing to set the example, to build the habit for the future, right? Solos are boring, and you're gonna lose your focus a bit. But like, have that in mind. Like, I need to lock in here, not because I want to do good in this exact game, because I need to, you know, put extended focus into this game, although you should, but you're trying to build that habit of like, I'm never looking before. Like, I'm bored right now, I'm in a box 30 seconds before, but as soon as it gets to 5 seconds, I'm looking around. I'm starting to plan my rotate and make sure that I can go instantly. Good thing to note is you do actually scout between your cone, or in your cone, which is great. Bad thing is a blind pearl, right? When, you know, at the very least, you could have definitely, oh, well, this guy's a little here, so he's in front of you here. I don't know. Maybe you could have ran up here and grabbed the rock and then gone. I'm trying to break the habit of you just blind pearling. It's not a great thing to do. Another great thing is, yeah, you see the bush here. You know it's your old builds. I would just burn your wood. Get up there, pump the bush though, because someone could be in it. Ugh. Right? Because that's a spot someone wants to take. Dead side position on a hill in a bush. I'm taking that all day. Boom, get your perspective. That's good. Really, really good. Now you see the chance to pearl. Just know where it's going to go. Shoot your pearl accurately. Shoot it. Boom. You fall down the hill. Again, if you could have, which I think you could have from this position, you could have definitely shot it to maybe here. Or just have a spot in mind like, okay, I need to be elevated because you don't want to be in this valley, right? Like the worst spot you could be in is where this guy's at. Down the hill in the lowest part, you know, or even down here, right? This is closer to dead side, so it's not horrible, but this is not a favorable position at all. This, on the other hand, which is right next door to it, is great, right? All you have to do is just land. Oh, I'm here. Use wood. Get up the hill. Box in the middle. Chilling. Right, you're in a good spot. Because now, just like the things you've done in the past, it's a blind rotate. You can't plan your rotate very easily here. We'll see what the zone options give you, but let's just 4x this just to get through it. Maybe it does pull in an area where you can plan your rotate from this perspective. 10 seconds left. So you're planning for it to go far here. I think this is probably fine. What I think you're trying to do here, and I want to explain for people that are unsure, or maybe I'm gonna try to pre-fire what he's doing here. Finding your hardest option and then having that as your first option to go, if it does go, is the best bet you can make, right? So in this scenario, right, he kind of knows there's a lot of people over here, right? So him like getting ready to set up his pearl for when zone pulls this way is not the best thing to do. Like it's not that hard, and it's also in a scenario where he's kind of blind to it. He can't really see. But this option here, where he knows it says he knows it's dead side, and he also, you know, if it does pull this way, it's going to be tricky. He's also one of the earlier ones to go, right? But if he goes late, he's going to get stuck in this entire bunch of people. So this does make sense here. Getting ready to shoot it in a direction. Just, again, trying to figure out where it's going. Like, all right, it's going in the valley. I want to try to hit that stair so I can use it as old builds and ramp up here. All right, instead of making it so blind. But this is very smart. Planning your rotate ahead of time, knowing that this is the hardest one out of all of them, and then having that pro ready to go is good. And I think pre-shooting it is also great. Popping it, fall down. Again, I think here, because you're early, and also because you kind of know you're going in a valley here from the angle, like this is a pretty clear, like I'm shooting myself into the river here, right? I would prefer just to use wood here. I would prefer to use wood, and I would also prefer for you to just come down here, right? Use wood, come up here, wrap on this side, and then just let the zone expand here in a second. Because there's only one guy over here. Now you're putting yourself in between, you know, this guy and that guy, right? And you're going to end up having a box here. It's just going to make your next rotate a little bit trickier. Or it could, right? Oh, wow. That guy's dead. But yeah, I would say just get up to this side. Play dead side. Look at this. Look at this Jack guy's position. It's a lot better. Let's see here, right? From that Jack position, right? I don't know where he went. Is he gone? He might have died. Oh, there he is. He looks like he got some refarm. Or he got that guy's loot. Okay. From Jack's position, right? If you were there first, you would have been able to hold this Jack guy. Nobody would have came down here. It would have been this Vert guy, whatever. Look, you would have had all this dead side wrap in here. Maybe you find some old loot, whatever it is. You wouldn't have to use any mobility. And now, you're in Vert's position. Almost in the zone here. On the dead side, right? Having wasted no mobility. Not having to have built before in hard mats. Because you can't get this metal back, right? This is only going to be... You know, using wood here, like this guy did, tarping into this, or even brick is preferred. Now your reverts at, you're in the perfect spot in zone. And you only had to waste, you know, one box, one hard box. Again, blind pearl, you're shooting it over a tree, and also, you're going straight into the center, right? It's like, would you rather pearl a little bit to the right and get near Vert and Jack, or would you rather pearl right and land right here, right on top of this guy, in between all these guys? It's like you're about to land in the most scuffed spot ever. We're about to see it here. Come down. Boom. Dead center, right in between everybody. Unsure, you know, of course it's blind. You have no idea there's a body here. You have no idea this guy's here. You have no idea, you know, these people are looking towards this body. This is going to be pure chaos in a second here. And you're fortunate, right? You're fortunate that nobody was looking at that loot, or that nobody was getting sprayed, because this would have been you. You're in between everybody, and that's what you want to avoid here, especially in solos. Here you see the loot. I don't know if there's a wall here, but yeah, definitely piece this up, right? Grab this wall, 100%. 100%. Grab that wall, grab it, put a wall here, whatever you want to do, piece it up for sure. Don't ever just drop down there in the open, because this guy could have been right on this edit, which he was, right? He grabs that wall, pumps you, catches you off guard, whatever it is. It's game over. There's no reason to not grab that wall there. That's a simple, just mechanical decision that needs to be made. Also, you're kind of seeing it here. Like, people are going to go for this loot, and if you have majority of the piece, you can play off of that, get damage, get kills, get surge, whatever you want to do. And also, it allows you to be a lot more efficient with what you're doing. You actually can pick through. Let me switch my 5 pearl for a max. Let me get my gold pump instead of a gray pump. These are choices and decisions that will help you a ton. You know, just upgrading your loot in general is going to save you. Now you're playing with with 5 pearls and a gray pump still, when you have the chance to have a full upgrade, best loadout in the game, and could have changed your entire trajectory here. So, you see zone goes. It's going to start pulling. And you also see that there's a lot of builds in front of you. There's really not a great perspective here. So, what I would suggest doing here is, in this scenario, because height's kind of blocking you off, and they're not going to be able to see you pearl, right? He's probably focused on, I have no idea what, maybe what's in front of him. He's blocking off a lot of the angles. This guy is not very, very smart. I would say just shoot the pearl right here, right over this gap here, pop it, land right here, and then the entire time you're like you're just worried about height. I think that's your best bet right there. Just get over it, just be elevated and get up. Or in this exact scenario with the time that you have, you see heights fighting now, right? You see there's builds, you see there's chaos up there, you see even these guys, you see this guy's fighting, right? You can definitely get a last second scout, see that he's fighting, and that's a given. Like, oh, I'll shoot my pearl, I'll land right here. I mean, this guy's not gonna be a threat to me at all. He's gonna be too busy looting and healing or or dying. And then same thing with that. You see height. Okay, yeah, height's fighting. They're build fighting. This guy's gonna be, too focused on building up, too focused on getting adjusted, building over, shooting people below him. Like, this is his focus, not you. So this would have been the perfect time for you to just take advantage of that and shoot your pearl near them to have a better rotate. And that's a very important thing that I want all of you guys to pick up on, is recognizing, understanding, and reading the scenarios that happen around you and how you can take advantage of the slightest change. Height's fighting. Oh, perfect. I'll go right below height. Oh, this guy's right in front of me is fighting. Oh, I'm gonna wrap right around him while he's fighting. I don't want anything. I don't want to be involved in that at all. Let me just wrap right around him while he's focused on that. Same thing with it could be besides fighting. It could be, you're going dead side here, right? Let's just say this right here is the next zone. It's the next base of the zone. You see somebody building up to the base. Perfect. I'm going to use that time to rotate right to that guy because he's going to be so busy about getting adjusted in the base, getting established on height. That's something that I do a ton in pro scrims, is you just watch what teams do in front of you and use that to be your cover. Of course, you would rather go when they're going up to the base rather than when they're in the base. So find that timing and take advantage of it. Here, getting in your cone is great. At this point in the game, right, you're super stacked. Like, great mats, great loot, or decent loot from what you could have had. Oh, just go back down and pop your big pot. And this is purely because of your center zone rotate. Right? If you were to ended up going here, you could have picked a side left or right. Maybe, maybe would have been on where Jack's at over here on this edge. But now, I mean, if we look at this right here, right? Here you are right below me. I mean, you are almost dead center. Like, you're 1 or 2 blocks away from being dead center of the entire lobby. So this is not a surprising thing that's going to happen. But also, it's not preferred, but it's solos. And honestly, in any game mode, like, it's not preferred, but you can make it work. Like, it can pan out for you just fine. Here we go, right? Tarping into zone here. All right, a little bit of a scuffed tarp. Doesn't really make sense for what you were doing here. Kind of just building floors and walls. Simply just stair tarp it, right? You would have had to build one extra thing instead of risking dying. So definitely just stair tarp that next time. We'll just watch this back really quickly because I just want to see from this perspective, like, why. Maybe you saw something that I didn't. Okay, so you need to go to zone. Same thing here. You could have just pearled. You could have shot a pearl up, right? Shoot it up, knowing where it pops. Land right here. Land above Matthew Gamer. Boom. Done. You're in. You had 4 pearls left. Easily could have done that. You could have also just stair tarped it a bit. I mean, then I think that's your best play here. But this, right, running, connecting with the wall doesn't really, like, doesn't really make sense. I think to fix this issue, what seems like it is here is just comfortability tarping. Like, you need to be way more comfortable pulling out a stair tarp and zigzag tarping with stairs. You need to be comfortable flipping the stairs. So just simply, Icebird, I would recommend you going into creative right now, right after this, and just going in and just practicing your tarping. Because it seems like it's a comfortability issue at this point. Right, doing this, jumping, walling, flicking around, risking this height, this guy shooting you, or even just height looking at you, whatever it is. Like, right here, you're not blocking your head here, you're running around. It's chaotic, right? Your walls edited. Like, just, you need to practice tarping. That's baseline here. Here you are, still 5-0-5. You're stacked, very, very stacked. You're making this game into a great game here. Zone pulls. Boom, it goes. Again, blind pearl. You can't really see what you want to do, but you have great mats here. You have 1,000 builds, so there's no point in sending yourself into the low ground depths, right in between everybody. Just simply stair tarp here. All right, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now you can see. Right, now I'll just go up here. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you could have easily used your mats here. And now you're launching yourself into storm here. You've got no whites. Now you're coned. Right, all of that was blind. Shooting yourself into the valley. All bad. All bad, bad, bad. Right? Now you're permanently 140 HP. No whites to share. And you really didn't cover that much distance, right? You didn't go that far. And now with solos, at this point, you're at a disadvantage jumping in a box. You're going to be permanently that HP, right? Versus getting yourself to 200 HP. You've got 3 builds left. Jump in. Highest chance to take the refresh, get the win. Now it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Let's see what you do here. I think here in this exact scenario, what I would do is, one, you could shoot your pearl right on top of that metal cone, knowing that he's not looking out of it, right? You could do that. You could also just tarp in wood here and like kind of slide off. That's not a bad idea either. Like build a box here, right? Build one box here. Come here. You see no one's below you. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Just jump and slide down. Get to this guy's level. That's a fast way to move through the zone. You could also just zigzag tarp your way down. You could come through here, right? Boom. Floor stair. Come here. Floor stair. Floor stair. Waterfall down. Boom. There you go. That's a possibility. You could pearl down to the low ground. You could pearl and storm there. You could pearl above this shuck guy. Let's see what you do here. There you go. Make your box. All right, you opt to just straight line tarp it. Not a bad play, but in solos especially, it's not needed because, again, you're a solo. I would much rather have had you just stair tarp this, right? Get to this side of zone. Like, you could have done the same thing, like kind of like what I mentioned, right? Kind of zigzag stair tarp for a bit, or just even regular straight stair tarp. Once you're here and you see, okay, this guy's not jumping on my head, you know, I'm good for now. Then I'd start getting to a side here. And then, now that you're here, right? Because eventually you'll be able to connect this guy. And if height is looking. So, now that you're here, or height is fighting, sorry. Now that you're here, you just stair tarp no wall, right? Put a wall in front of you, block this Benz guy off. Edit, hold your stair, look up. Perfect, right? Boom. Edit your stair, chop that out, build up, you win the game. Right there. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. But instead, you go for the straight full tarp when it's solos, using extra mats that you don't need to. And you definitely lose the timing to look at height here. Right? This is a free chop. And when you're looking to chop height, it's not about spraying this guy's floor. It's not about spraying here. It's trying to find that right chop, which from this looks just like these two. If you spray both these out, now actually you'd have to spray that out as well. Maybe it's this. You know, you spray that out in the wall. It's tough, but just try to find the right chop back in zone. Could be even here, right? You could do this, right? Two things there, or it's more than that now. That's with this connected. Anyways, besides the point. Look, if I was a chop out master, my name would be Chop Out Cease, okay? But I'm not a chop out master. But this is a tough one, to be honest with you. It's not the hardest thing, but this is really what you should be doing, though. You should be wanting to program yourself to look at height, especially in solos. All right, so all those mats you had were now wasted in the straight line max mat tarp that could have been saved, you know, just going on the dead side with stairs. And also, you can turn a stair tarp into a full tarp easily. Like, let's say right here, you're up here, and you go for stair tarp, stair tarp, stair tarp, right? Then you guys start getting sprayed. Okay, I'll just box the tarp. Now I'm good, right? Now I know. Now I really got to tarp here full send and just go to zone. Because height's looking at me. Or maybe they stop and you can keep going stair. Same thing there. Could have been just a simple floor stair, wall, edit the wall for peace, and now you're good. And then you would have had, you know, you could have held your stair, seen that jack guy was there running through with nothing. Maybe seen this guy running up, like giving yourself those angles. Stair tarps for solos are so good. Saving mats and giving you more perspective. Now you're going 19 builds, right? You're going through here. I would always recommend, especially since you hear a lot of audio, a lot of things going on here, just when you're coming up here, stair, cone yourself, edit through the cone. Like, you do not want to get stuck here from somebody that's just crawling up here, right? He reaches the cone, cones you, puts the wall, you're dead, right? Same thing here, right? Same possibility. Just come up here, cone yourself, boom, stair tarp, block your front, look back, block your back, save your builds, right? Just keep your builds as high as you can. Maybe you see a chance to have a stair here, look at height, shoot him out. He's on by one thing, right? He would have definitely fallen. Obviously, he would have pearled or caught himself, but that's maybe the fight you need. Like this, you have 10 builds, right? This guy in height has 26. Maybe he falls all the way down, burns a lot of mats, and you maybe win the game from height. Same thing there. Just a habit, right? I would just get in the habit here of just constantly coning yourself. This guy could have easily coned you. He had the mats to do it as well. So two things: practice tarping, and then practice just when you're free building, constantly be coning yourself. Right? You're going up here, you're slapping a cone down. Okay, you're coming down here, dropping back down, you're coning yourself. Just constantly practice coning yourself, editing through it. It'll help you a ton. I mean, yeah. Then of course, you know your low mats after you've burned a ton of these materials earlier. You go for the fight, which isn't a bad fight here. I would say your best bet in this scenario is try to either phase in the wall, or if you think you have zero ping, you trust your ping, whatever. Grab the wall, put a stair in. If it doesn't work, you got to instantly block your head here. Height is going to look at you. Like, this is bound to happen here. Now you're really weak, really shambles, running around here. Still have builds too, which is surprising you're not building here. I would definitely pull out my builds here. 7 builds is a lot. A lot of builds on back zone here. Like, this guy, I don't even know what he's doing here. Popping heals in the cone. This guy, I mean, anybody could shoot you in the back here. Definitely. Definitely use to build 7. It's a good amount. Right? Boom, this guy goes down. It just kind of turns into chaos. There, you could have built with a little bit more accurate piece, but... And you had the builds to do it too, right? Like, boom, wall, stair, block it off. He might have still killed you, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, your biggest faults in this game was blind pearling, made you burn a lot of mats, and just feel a little bit more rushed. You could have saved a ton of mats in that half and half zone if you just went where that Jack guy was. And then tarping, like full tarping and not using stair tarps to your advantage definitely didn't help out on your mats. And then also just, you never really played for a win condition. Like there wasn't really a time where you like looked to take height or to take low. It's like solos have to have a plan, right? You play the game out with an intention to play a certain layer or to do something in the end game. I'm going to look at height. I'm going to tarp out and look for low, right? I'm going to go for 1 refresh right now. And if I don't get it, I'm going low, right? I'm going to look at height. And if I don't get it, I'm going to go mid ground or I'm going to go low. Having like a game plan of how you want to play, it just kind of looks like you're just playing the game, kind of just whatever happens. Whatever layer you find yourself on is the layer you're on. Have that plan, have that structure. It's going to help you build out and try to pull out more of your mistakes and make them more obvious. Right? Like, why didn't I do good this game? I told myself I was going to go low ground. I was going to go low ground. Where did I end up? Mid ground again. Well, next game I've got to go low ground. Okay, next time you go low ground, it worked out. You won the game, or you got 3rd place, 10th place, whatever it is. What happened? What happened on low ground? Then you start to tweak your low ground plan and how you can play low ground. Now when I go low ground, I'm gonna start to tarp ahead of me more. I'm gonna tank storm more. I'm gonna be patient and wrap around. I'm gonna pearl ahead. Whatever it is, like start to tweak your own game plan and get better at a certain layer will help you a ton. Get that identity. But yeah, I think you could easily practice scouting your rotates more and not making sure you don't blind pearl and stair tarping. Just practicing your tarping, your creative, practicing coning yourself. Those things like that, just simple mechanical things will help you a ton. And overall, this game could have turned into a top 3 easily. Like you would have had, I mean, if we're thinking about positioning here, right? Stair tarp here on the left side, zone pulls left, you go. You're probably either where this guy is or down a layer with good mats. Like, easy. Zone expands, maybe you could have even dropped. I don't think you would have done that, but you could have, maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. but yeah. Hey, all good. Not a bad game, though. Not a bad game. I appreciate you, Icebird, for allowing me to watch your gameplay. Like I said in the start of the video, make sure you guys go drop a comment and upvote the best comment. Give me the reason why. Give everyone the reason why you want to be picked, and also make sure to drop your Epic Games name in the comments as well, so I can actually do it based off the top comment. But yeah, go ahead and drop that down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.